We would like to share some information about our network.
When we start season 2, we see the aftermath, the chaos.
There was such a cost to that moment of complete honesty.
Alex, just keep your phone on. I'll call you.
In this season, our characters are searching for who they are and trying to get through it in a world that's transitioning very quickly.
The morning show is in a place of real flux. I mean, Alex Levy has left the show, and of course, the fallout from Mitch Kessler having left the show is still resonating.
UBA is a changed environment. It's noticeably more diverse, young, there are more women.
We are no longer running the show from the perspective of the white male patriarchy. We have moved on.
Everything's different this season. In season 2, we meet Alex in a very serene place. I think she had to get out of the chaos.
Please come back. You become a powerful voice in the rebuilding and the rebranding of a toxic empire that it's gonna rise.
There's a tremendous amount of guilt that she's feeling, her hypocrisy within herself.
She sort of became a feminist hero, and I think she has this secret guilt that she isn't. She has this history with Mitch that she's ashamed of.
But something about her still needs to feel relevant, and there's obviously still more for her to excavate.
You know, things are gonna have to be different if we're gonna resume this quote-unquote partnership. I was the one who was exposing the network, and I decided to include you. Bradley steps into a position where she's trying to play the game, she's trying to get ahead. Bradley becomes the #1 lead anchor. Whenever people think about the morning show, I want them to think of me. And she thinks she's in control. Laura Peterson comes up to mentor Bradley Jackson.
I don't think they're using you in the right way.
They're bigger than that.
When Bradley meets her, it's just hero worship. There's this larger-than-life character.
The energy between Reese's character and my character is really interesting to watch because you really see Reese's character grow just by being in Laura's orbit.
I'm making a toast. These two women, they changed the course of human history, and we've got them. The personal stake that Cory had in season 1 was winning. He didn't seem concerned about the consequences.
You're a dead man,
Said the corpse. All of a sudden, you're watching Pinocchio become a real boy. He has to manage real feelings. This is a battle for the soul of the universe.
The show brings up so many great talking points about the world and people being human.
People relate to shows where human beings ask the deeper question. A show and a network allowed the worst behavior to be permissible. Does that line up with your experience?
I think some people are ready to talk. Some people are not ready for that. It's okay to be anywhere you want on that spectrum, but that's going to be tested.
There is a pattern of behavior around here that disadvantages the people of color. We all develop a different relationship with America, and I think that there are a lot of people who are really reevaluating their place.
It's been brought to my attention that for me to use that term might be considered insensitive.
So much of this show is showing these real-world relationships unfold in real time, and it just allows the audience to organically go on this journey to answer some pretty complicated questions.
You mean something, Alex, you do. As a leader, as a feminist, and I want you to be these things.
What you thought was going to happen at the beginning of season 2, all of a sudden there's these detours that you didn't think about along the way.
We have more incredible storylines, much bigger and much more impactful than you could ever imagine.
Camera 2, get the both of them, 2 shot.
Onward and upward. At the beginning of season 2, we meet Alex in a very serene place. All of the pain and the frustration that she had been carrying around for years and years and years. I think she had to get out of the chaos.
Bradley's doing anything to say that she is compliant, she's ready to be a team player, but she also wants autonomy. She thinks she's in control, and we find out by the end of episode 1 that is such an illusion.
You could have been my friend, but that did not happen. And I'm so glad it did not, because all you had to do was be honest with me.
At the end of season 1, there was an enormous thrill that Cory and Bradley shared. In that, Cory's attachment to her grew in a way that was unexpected to him.
We don't know if it's just an infatuation or it's real, but they are always doing this dance around each other.
Cameras, hey, Mark.
Coming into the second season was really a different trip because we came in and shot during COVID. We were all
Very excited to be going back into production, but also very scared.
We'd already started a season 2 that then suddenly felt less relevant.
When I read the new episode 1 for season 2, where you start to feel all those little things that we were not aware of, and the little sharing of food, the little sneezes, I just thought that was very smart.
We shot a big New Year's Eve sequence in LA.
We did Times Square as you would outside a gigantic parking lot, and so basically large enough for huge green screen signs.
It was really fun to shoot it and then create the world with VFX.
Stand by camera 2.
The dance number was great, and they only rehearsed it once, an hour before we shot, because we wanted it to look not rehearsed.
To do that on one of my first days on set, especially while we were filming during a pandemic, to just have unbridled joy.
It was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing on the day.
Everybody was like, 2020 is my year. It was surreal to go back and shoot the arrogance we all had on that day in December of 2019.
To Carrie's credit, she really came up with an incredible storyline about what happens when the world closes in while you're just making plans for your own life.
The power structure at the morning show is shifting with the new voices and younger generations.
We have some fabulous new cast members.
We have more incredible storylines. We have new amazing characters.
Okay, should we have the conversation about Bradley that I think we're all thinking? Is she really cutting it?
Greta came in and just swooped us all off of our feet.
What I want is to change things here. Stella Bach is the youngest and only female news president in the history of UBA.
I want to build things, but I can't build them if the ground isn't level.
She's essentially the new Cory Ellison. There's no reason why they would get along and see eye to eye, and they definitely do butt heads.
Her point of view seems to be, you're lucky to have me. Clear the wax out of your ears so you can hear what I'm telling you.
UBA's New Year's Eve extravaganza tomorrow night live. I've spent years putting on a suit pretending to be a fake news anchor, so transitioning over to the morning show was just an extension.
And action!
I was asked to submit my audition tape during my sister's wedding. I called Mom, I said, will you sing with me really quick? We did a little duet together, and that was the weirdest audition tape I've ever put together in my life.
Hey, it's Hassan Minhaj. I'm reading for the role of Eric. I'm here at home with my parents, so my mom, Seema, is gonna be reading the role of Georgia. She's not familiar with the song Baby It's Cold Outside.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
But I can... They see that and somehow say yes. A few weeks later, I'm laying down vocals and rehearsing with Reese, and it eventually became this. So thank you, Seema, for that very endearing audition.
When Ty comes into this world, he's new and fresh, and he's not involved with the internal games and mechanics of trying to get up the ranks of UBA. Hello.
Who are you and how did you get in here?
No, that's Ty FITZGERALD. He's actually on the show.
I know who that is.
I was really nervous to act opposite Jen.
I really am so looking forward to working with you.
Well, I'm really excited to be worked with.
Yes.
She was so friendly and so supportive that I forgot about all my anxieties.
Well, look who's here.
Julianna Margulies is an incredible addition to the show.
There she is. Here I am.
She's brilliant and so talented.
She was on ER and I was on Friends, and our stage doors opened up and we'd chat with each other. Who would have thought 25 years later we'd be finally on the same set?
Alex, if you're ready. My character, Laura Peterson, is the network's golden ticket. She can pretty much do anything she wants. What was the nature of your relationship with Mitch Kessler?
You never see anything like it. Someone coming in so well prepared, take after take after take. It's just quite impressive.
It was an incredible experience coming into the show where everybody on this set is a master of their craft.
Jumping into this vat of incredibly talented women, it was an embarrassment of riches.
I'm so excited to come to work and to get to do it with these people who I love. It's a total dream.
Well, you have more characters. We introduced more characters. We're basically, tuning into season 2 just the moments after Bradley and Alex are on air and get shut down. So we sort of have a very energized entrance into season 2. And then, you know, it takes a lot of twists and turns, and we basically are dealing with the repercussions of what season 1 handed us. And so you see the struggles, the outcasts, the cancel culture. Everyone's sort of walking around with their own guilt of what they allowed to and not to happen. There's a lot of self-reckoning, and a lot of twists and turns that we can't really talk about, actually. But it's definitely gets spicy.
Yeah, I think it's a deeper exploration of all those themes. We started, season 1 was really a lot about Me Too. This season is really exploring that time right before the whole world shut down because of the pandemic. So
COVID.
It's January to March, right before. And we're dealing with systemic racism, homophobia, ageism, and our newfound power and what our relationship to power is as women inside of a news media organization.
Well, I mean, it really took me down. It was hard. I think it took Reese down too. She can speak to her experience, but it was very challenging to. We had already shot the first bit of the show before the pandemic, and then we shut down, and then the show was rewritten in order to incorporate COVID. So doing a show, creating a show whilst in a pandemic, dealing with all of the protocols. We'd had endless Zooms with our incredible epidemiology team, each department, and we were all, because the main thing for everybody was everybody's safety, the entire crew, and then everybody's family when they would go home. So it was a very, very strict protocol. And then, you know, it's difficult because I want to see, you know, we always kept saying, I want to see my crew's faces. I love these people. And we had such a season 1, and it was so bizarre to be a creative group of people, and we're all so interactive. And so even during rehearsals, your masks are on and your shields are on, and then it's like rolling, and all of a sudden, oh, I guess the virus doesn't exist now for this 5-minute scene that we're going to do. So it took some adjusting, but then, like anything, it became very normal, oddly, which hopefully it won't be that normal for that much longer. And it was definitely not without its challenges, because we also were given a less amount of time to work during the day. There was a lot of rules around it, but we got through it and survived it, and I think we made a really good show, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what's going on inside the show, too, we're kind of dealing with all those things that happened before the entire world shut down. So it's kind of this theme of the world happens when you're busy making other plans. So we're all very invested in our own struggles and our own ideas and our own pursuits. And then something even bigger than all of us is happening in the world. So it has great themes to it, and I'm really proud of this show. I feel like we worked really hard, you know, and just to really be thoughtful about what people are dealing with during this pandemic. It has been devastating for the world in so many different ways. So
it's so
addressing it with thoughtfulness and a real focus on humanity was very important to us. Well, a lot. I mean, we get to collaborate a lot. I mean, this season we had very different storylines. So it would kind of be like I'd be working in the morning and Jen would be working in the afternoon. But whenever we saw each other, we'd have a coffee or
we just have a squeal and just be like, how are you doing? And what's going on in your world? And I'd be over here with this, and she was over here in her storyline, and we had a lot of amazing time together, but it wasn't as much as we wanted to. And also just because of this protocol we were given, everybody was kind of assigned to a certain pod of people. But we also have, you know, we've known each other for so many years, and we've we respect each other's work that we have done over the years, and so the fact that we get to do this together feels very natural, and also we feel so grateful that we get to do it together after all of these years of knowing each other and watching each other grow up.
I will say that's an interesting question, because I do think journalism has shifted so much even in the past 5 years.
Yes.
With the emergence of social media and misinformation and politicized news.
Right.
It's very hard, I think, for audiences to find the truth. We're all searching for the truth. There used to be one sort of universal accepted truth.
Right.
Now there's 1,000 different ways. I really see it with my children. They get their news in different places than I do. And I think that is, it just is what it is. It's life. News is not centralized anymore.
Kids are the generational gaps is interesting too, because the kids are so black and white. It's like, no, that is wrong. It's like, well, wait a minute. You know, there's definitely as the generations go up, and then there's the Holland Taylor character who's just like, I've been around this world and blah, blah. I mean, she's like seen it all and done it all, and then you get to the like, no, that is just not. So there's all of these different generations that are being explored on our show, and which is fascinating. But I also think, you know, like we said, they used to be our safe place to go. You turn on the morning news and that's ma and pa, and we feel safe, we feel okay, the world's not imploding today. And then all of a sudden, over the last, however, like Reese said, just 5 years, you can't even just deliver the news anymore because everybody's going through your panty drawers now too. It's, you know, it's a lot. Everyone's just out for blood.
I mean, I don't think anything's difficult. I think it's just the truth. So
it's the truth, yes.
Processing different things like systemic racism within the media industry, homophobia, sexism, ageism. They're all meaningful. I think it was just, how do we allocate time to every important issue that's on people's mind? We're in a cultural reckoning. And I think it's time that people are really comfortable voicing it, and people are actually interested in hearing it. So we just wanted to give appropriate time to each issue.
And people really appreciate when you kind of go there on a topic that is taboo and say the unspeakable or the unthinkable or the thing that's said behind the closed doors that, oh my gosh, how dare. There's such relief for an audience to say, oh, that's me. I feel that way. So, yes, so there's other people that are thinking those things, you know, because again, it's not so black and white.